Hello, breadheads. We are live.
Honk, honk. Ty and Eric coming to you live from the vehicle. You better buckle up, Eric, because this episode's going to be a bumpy ride.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I'm so stoked right now. Ty and I are both in the mobile booths, separate mobile booths. I'm calling in from the German whip. You're calling in from the Japanese, the JDM whip.
Mm-hmm.
And we are both... I don't know. We could be doing this from anywhere, but we're doing this probably in 2 different parking lots.
We could have just driven to each other and recorded it in person, but alas, we are recording in our own. It's because neither of us want to be in the passenger seat. How can 2 alpha male podcasters both occupy the driver's seat at the same time? When
it's literally impossible.
This is the only way. We have to record remotely, both from the driver's seat, and I'm okay with it.
That's right. We're 50-50 podcasters. Okay, we're both in the driver's seat of our success. So the reality is we can't choose somebody to sit in the back unless we both sit in the back seat. That would be kind of romantic.
That'd be pretty funny. Damn, the back seat is where only nefarious things happen. That
nothing good ever happens in the back seat.
This is the biggest I think the problem for the taxi industry is that the passengers in a taxi cab always end up in the back seat just by default. So by default, you're already creating a nefarious situation as a cabbie. Like in a perfect world, the cab driver sits in the back seat and all of the passengers sit in the front. And that way nothing bad can happen.
So the cab driver would sit in the back like he's controlling the kayak or something?
Yeah, exactly. Or like, you know how like the person who like pilots the yacht is always like kind of up a little higher and near the back. He has oversight into kind of what's in front of them, but also who is in front of them.
He's in the bridge. Just like the person at the back of house at Subway controls the order. You know what I mean? You can only go so far as the customer, but it really is the back of house that dictates whether you're going to enjoy your meal or not.
Oh, dude. And don't even get me started on deep back. You're probably wondering, what do you mean by deep back, Ty? Well, this is like the deep house of Subway, and that's not the back of the sneeze guard, but the back of the entire franchise, where they're slicing the meats, where they're refrigerating the vegetables, and whoever is responsible for the key to the deep freeze and the meat slicer, Eric, they really hold all the cards.
Dude, and don't even get me started on back of the franchise, because they're the ones who create the menu, you know what I mean, roll out the marketing materials. They're the ones who send you your franchise package in the mail. It includes things like floor stickers on where to stand during a pandemic, things like that.
Damn, I would imagine being the graphic designer that had to make the Subway pandemic floor stickers. And
dude, the pandemic floor stickers now are like fossilized into the concrete wherever you go. Like, you can't remove them, so that stain is just there forever, no matter where you go now.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of like a old cave painting. The way that there's just like a little bit of it. You can make out a few iconographic symbols. But I felt so bad for the graphic designer that had to make those, Eric, because I'm sure their very first idea was everyone should stand 6 footlongs apart. But that was never, because that's the obvious like solution. But no one ever made that. That's not what the Subway stickers say. They just say like stay apart or something. They avoided using their own system. I'm sure it was brought up. It was rejected by some higher up. They decided
to use metric. Unfortunately. Crooked Subway, they weren't able to introduce any kind of humor. And I guess like in the context of 2020, March 2020, like humor wasn't really allowed. Like you weren't allowed to make light of any situation. So that's kind of why we started this podcast, Ty. We needed a release.
We need to make light of something. Toast the world.
100%. We needed a white bread.
Yeah, totally. Well, unfortunately, the white bread isn't white anymore, Eric. It's a little darker. It's a little smeared. I have some unfortunate news that I learned coming out of a Subway in Michigan I'd like to share with you.
Oh, gosh. God. Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so a patron at a Subway in Michigan this week claims that Her Subway sandwich was laced with poo, Eric.
Laced with poo or simply contained poo? Because laced implies like some nefarious intent. So I'm curious, like, did somebody plant the poo or did someone just take the poo, you know?
It's unconfirmed yet, but I thought the exact same thing when I read the headline. Lacing implies a motive, and I'm not sure what the motive would be. Either way, here's what went down. You and I can try to figure out right now on pod whether or not this was first degree lacing or third degree accidental smearing, or whether it is even poo altogether. But the woman says she got her footlong from Subway. Yeah.
So obviously, Ty, we need to see what the footlong looks like. We need to turn this footlong into a crime scene because a crime has taken place, and we need to determine, based on the spreadage of the shit, whether that was intentional or it was simply fell on the sandwich. Maybe it wasn't even human.
All of these are questions that still need to be resolved. Case is wide open right now, Eric. So I'm going to give you the facts. Okay?
Okay.
Michigan. Woman leaves Subway with a footlong. As she's leaving, she acknowledges that there's a nasty smell in the air. She assumed it was the sewage in the area. As you know, Michigan isn't known for its waterworks. Shout out to Flint. Heads home, unwraps her sandwich. There's a very nasty brown smear on the inside of the sandwich all over the wrapper, and it reeks. She immediately assumes it's poo. Could be human, could be dog, could be a third unknown party. She disposes of the sandwich. She phones the news, probably calls the DOJ to do an inquiry on that location. She does actually call the authorities, and they write it off as a chocolate smear. They said, "Lady, you are quite literally out to lunch, and this is just a smear of chocolate chip." But surely she would know that. Where did the aroma come from? Subway bread will blitz any other smell, so it must have been strong. I don't think she could make that up. And that's all the facts we have so far, Eric. What do we do? Where do we go from here?
Ty, unfortunately, this Subway sandwich will need to be turned into forensic evidence. I don't think two podcasters are able to determine where and how the shit made it to the sandwich. I think, obviously, the sandwich artist is our prime suspect here. However, I won't be surprised if this franchise and probably all of the other ones have a rat infestation, where small little glossettes of shit will end up in the sandwiches themselves. Maybe it was already in the bin, and the customer said, "Let me get some of that. That looks good." The black olives.
Damn. I am actually, my takeaway from this is that the sole reason Subway has black olives on the menu is to hide any unidentifiable flying objects entering the sandwich.
Yeah. Well,
unidentifiable
that would be a good
footlong objects, I should have said.
That is a good point. We need to protect what goes into the footlong, Tie. I don't know what we can do further, you know what I mean, to help this poor lady out of Michigan. Obviously, they have enough problems as is. The water's brown, the footlong's brown. We can't do anything about that, Ty. We're just two podcasters.
Dude,
but I do want
Eric,
to talk a little bit
you
about...
need to understand that it is the only job of a podcaster is to solve crimes over the internet. That's why podcasters exist. This is our calling.
That's right. The Serial podcast paved the way for all of us. You know what I mean? Definitely the first podcast I listened to. I don't know about you.
Facts. Dude, Serial, because of Serial, we need to figure out if there's truly poo in the footlong.
Do you think this could be a serial pooer? Like, do you think somebody is planting poo in multiple footlongs and then this lady's the first one to notice?
Here's what I think happened, Eric. An artist, you would think that a sandwich artist during their own lunch break gets to eat a footlong, right? That would seem fair to get 12 inches on the house.
bare minimum.
A sandwich artist, been there a few years, bit tenured, ready to try something new. Gets a little bit too spicy in the sauces. Has a panicked moment, tries to use the bathroom. It's locked, it's taken. Customers in there shooting, doing meth or something. So they head to the back of house. They go in one of the buckets. They like dump all the cucumbers out. They use the bucket, but they need to wipe. And what is the best way to wipe at Subway? It's to use the paper wrappers. Uses a bunch, tries to throw them out. One accidentally ends up back in the pile and then on the footlong stand. That is, I think, narrative that makes the most sense.
Oh gosh. You might be right, Ty. The first thought that came to mind was, let me use the gloves I have on already because I had to rush to the bathroom. I'm wearing gloves. I'm just going to use my bare hand, which is protected by the plastic glove, to do what I have to do to clean myself off. And then as soon as I leave the bathroom, oh God, there's a customer there waiting for me. They look angry. I better make their sandwich right away. And I leave the gloves on.
Oh.
Nasty.
That could be it. I knew those gloves were more of a liability than anything.
Ty, I really want to talk about other invasive species that might have entered a footlong in recent times. If you found the poop story, you probably found this other story. Somebody was investigating the chemical makeup of the meatballs. Now, this is shocking to me because we all thought the meatballs were the only safe meat to consume at Subway. Like, out of all the meats at Subway, meatballs, we thought they were on the white list, you know what I mean?
It's actually kind of funny,
I'm not talking about the white bread list.
It's funny that we would think that they were the good guys because really they're unspecified meatballs. All the other meat at least claims to come from an animal, with the exception of the sphere. The Las Vegas meat sphere.
You're right. And maybe that's me just being naive and trusting the tradition of Italian American culture, you know what I mean? Of bringing meatballs into a sandwich form. So it could just be me, but I had assumed good intentions, you know what I mean? But I did find a video online that somebody had looked into the ingredients of the meatball. And this seems like something that all of us could have done, but nobody did. No one ever reads the ingredients. But let me just read to you some of the things that were seen in this ingredient list.
I'm really scared, Eric. I don't know if I need to. I don't know if I want to know.
You don't need to, Ty. You don't need to know, but you also don't need to eat it. You probably won't eat it anyway. Here's the thing. There's a few normal things. Okay, there's breadcrumbs. There's an unspecified meat type. There's some spices, dried garlic, onion, things like that. But Ty, there's almost 40 other ingredients.
Wow, what a list! So
Okay.
Is this grocery list words we can pronounce? Are they words we've heard of?
I don't think so. I haven't heard of them. But some of them are textured soy protein.
Nice.
What is that? Can you just describe what that is as the resident vegetarian? What is textured soy protein?
Well, Eric, I can't give you a definitive answer because I've never heard those words strung together like that either. But I know that the most textured soy protein that I eat is called tempeh. So perhaps they're referring to tempeh.
Oh, interesting. That would be an interesting binding agent for the meatball.
Perhaps it is, yeah.
The other things includes various seed oils, which obviously are not good, based on the propaganda that I've been fed, at least. Big Whole Foods will lead you to believe that seed oils are not good.
It's for sure. Your oil should come from olives or coconuts, and they need to be cold pressed, maybe twice. And if your oil has lost its virginity, then it's a sinner. You do not want it.
I 100% agree. Extra virgin only for me. Ty, these seed oils, all these things make me realize the only way to truly lose weight is to just not eat. You can't trust anyone these days, even quote unquote healthy fast food. you can't do it. There's no such thing. Healthy and fast food don't go together. If you need to lose 20 fast, like I suggest you do just drop and do 20 and skip lunch. You know what I mean? That's the only way to truly lose weight these days, because all food that we eat is just out to get us. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm surprised it's not laced with fentanyl.
The lettuce might be at this point. But so it's called fast food, and the only thing healthy about that term, Eric, is fasting, which is the root. So I think you're right that like
the recommended order as well.
Yeah. If you really want to eat nothing for lunch though, all you need to do is go to Subway and just ask for a bowl of lettuce and then consume that. It tastes like nothing, it has no nutritional value, but it also is not taxing whatsoever on your system because it will turn to dust immediately after it touches your mouth. So there's a meal for the diet heads out there.
I agree with you. I'll do you one better, Ty. I think just skip it altogether. You know what I mean? There's nothing in the lettuce that will satisfy you like the intermittent fasting high that you will get.
So are we fasting pilled now, or are we doing this?
Oh, dude, I've been anti-breakfast, sometimes anti-lunch for a long time.
So you're just like
real heads will know.
One meal a day. It's dinner. You drop a nuke ton of steak and mashed potatoes in your stomach. Hits you like a 18-wheeler, and then it puts you to sleep.
That's right, Ty. And then on the weekends, I have 2 meals: Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Damn. My man likes sushi.
Sushi Hiroshima would be a crazy sushi name.
Yeah.
Sushi place name.
It would be.
But yeah, dude, I think skipping a meal is honestly the best way to do it. That way you can eat guilt-free for your one meal. And if you can go the extra mile and make that meal actually healthy, you're just winning in life. You'll feel better. You'll get used to being hungry. You won't even feel hungry anymore. It's the original Ozempic, you know?
Here's the challenge, Eric, is that fasting doesn't propagate consumerism. It's actually kind of anti-consumerism. So if you and I can figure out how to turn fasting into a business, then I think the powers that be in this world will let us find success. But the reason it's, I think, like passed off or swept under the rug as a hippy-dippy kind of dietary idea is because no one can benefit from it financially.
You're absolutely right, Ty. Haters will call me a commie bastard because I'm advocating for fasting, but I think we've already beaten to the punch, because that's what Ozempic does. It just makes you not hungry. So you skip meals just because you don't want to eat, and all you do is take a shot to the ass.
It seems like a small price to pay, you know, if you can be faster than an F1 driver if you're taking that. That's
right. I actually saw Ozempic in real life, Ty, recently, and I gotta say, it's not as scary as it sounds. Yeah, I mean, injecting something it crosses the line for most people, especially drug users. However, it's like cute little packaging. Almost made me want to inject it for dessert, you know?
Oh, nice. They got that millennial pink in the packaging, or how are they? Do they have a nice rounded typeface?
The typeface is approachable. The outer plastic is kind of like a cross between lavender and like a pastel blue. So it's like, you know, I'm sure they come in like multiple colors. You can just choose one that suits you. But yeah, dude, I think that would be the best way to get people to use it. You know what I mean? Just make it look cute. Millennial, Gen Z branding goes a long way, in my opinion.
Dude, yeah, I give us 6 months till Urban Outfitters is carrying them on one of their shelves. Like, honestly, the chokehold it has on North America right now is crazy. I was watching an NBA game last night, and there was its logo on the court, obviously being projected, but like they're advertising at the NBA games now, dude. They're sponsoring my nephew's high school lunch.
That's from a personal lens or like a societal lens, that's insane and gnarly. But from a business lens, the NBA partnering with both Ozempic and Skims is like a match made in heaven. Like, you get to skip lunch and have like the the contouring, like ass shaping underwear. It's ideal.
Holy
honestly.
shit. The NBA is accidentally creating a new type of pressure for the male figure. They're going to do to men what we've been doing to women for decades, is perpetuate unrealistic body standards.
Whoa, true. I have yet to order any Skims underwear tie, but when I do, I'll let you know if if it gives me some good curves, in all the right places.
I know what you mean. Just like the little.
I'll have to give you the review.
Dude, if it can hug something as small as a nipple, I think it'll take care of you just fine.
They have that new nipple bra. Have you seen that?
That's what I'm referencing.
Where it's like a 3D, the 3D printed nipple bra. Where's the men's like eggplant underwear? You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. I just want something.
I just want
that looks like the shape of a banana down there. Perfectly sculpted. I feel like I'm putting a gun in a holster.
100%. Imagine you just like pull down your pants and you have like a whole like padded hog just in the Skims underwear. That's kind of crazy.
That'd be pretty cool though if society treated the footlong bulge the same way that we treat the nipple bulge on the plain white t-shirt. I think there's an opportunity for men to start showing their bulge a little bit, and some men need some help, so this is where Skims comes in.
Absolutely, Ty. And when you say bulge and footlong bulge, what are you exactly referring to? Because I sometimes would call it the footlong gut.
Well, I think you can figure it out, Eric.
It could be below the waist, or it could be directly above the waist as well. You know what I mean? That bulge is much larger in size and probably easier to attain for most Subway patrons.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Got to show off that gut.
Exactly, dude. The footlong gut.
Damn. Footlong gut is rectilineal. Yeah. It's not round. Beer guts are round. Footlong guts are square.
Yeah, dude. It's like a 6-pack, but just like go a single one.
One pack. It really would be the same shape as a 1-pack. That's really funny.
Exactly. Man, shout out to Kim. Shout out to Skims. What else we got, Ty? I saw this really disturbing image of breakfast. I'm obviously a breakfast hater, but I saw an image of a footlong PB&J.
Ooh.
What do we think about that?
Dude, PB&J the long way. I love that. I love PB&J. My biggest problem with it is that it's always too small, especially if you cut the crust off. So, tell me more about this, and where can I buy it?
I don't know where you can buy it. I wonder if Subway will do it for you. But the image I saw was somebody eating this footlong PB&J. It was clearly a footlong from Subway in the Subway paper, and they had a Subway drink as well. They were eating it in their car, and they had it like split open. Just peanut butter on one side, jelly on the other. Unclear if they had ordered just the bread and provided their own PB&J, or they had the artist pull it from the secret menu or something. I'm really unclear on how that happened, but that is what I saw.
I would like to debunk the myth that this is a Subway order, Eric. I think we have found an online troll here that's trying to set up a false order for everybody. They're pulling our leg here, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But they obviously want you to believe this is a real footlong, a PB&J footlong, because they got the bread, they got the wrapper, they got the cup. It's got that body cam POV of them about to dive into that footlong, and you can see it's clear as day the jam and the peanut butter on the footlong. But here's how I debunked it, Eric. Both sides are perfectly clear of the other ingredient. Your peanut butter down all the way one side, jam down all the way the other side. If a sandwich artist actually made that footlong, they would have smacked those two together like the cheeks of a stripper, and then they would have sliced that thing in half. And if you reopened it, you would have some cross-pollination of the two ingredients, and there was none of that. So that means that person's either requested it be served open-faced, which I highly doubt, or they did it themselves and trolled everybody.
That is a surprisingly valid forensic analysis that you just did. We're going to need to do that same thing for the inevitable poop photo that will come out in the next week or so. But good job, Ty. That is exactly right. Clearly, they had some PB&J sitting in the car waiting for them, which is even more crazy. Like, just get the egg. Like, we already tried it. It's good. You know what I mean? The egg is a good breakfast order if you are sick enough to go to Subway before noon.
Dude, if you're trying to eat 12 inches of sandwich before noon, that's like a 180 from fasting. Like, nah, I want to be hella full.
Yeah, dude, I want to be in a caloric surplus before lunchtime. Like, that's truly demented.
Yeah, unless you're a night shift worker, that ain't for me.
Hell no.
Wow. So
speaking of night shift, Ty.
Okay, hit me. We're on the night shift right now, bro.
I was gonna exactly. We're on the night shift right now. I was gonna close it out, but if you have anything else you want to add, please. Now's the time.
No, let's do it. You're looking more and more like a character in the film Drive as the sun sets behind you and the city lights start reflecting in your rear view mirrors.
That's right. That's right. I'm going to turn left and drive down the LA River right after this and hopefully find a lonesome woman to accompany me, and I can maybe be the stepdad in that relationship. But Ty, it's been great chatting with you. Thanks for tuning in, Breadheads. More car pods to come, maybe. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how the audio of this sounds. Thanks for sticking with us. Anything else, Ty?
That's everything on my end. Think fresh, everybody. Have a good night. Ciao.
Ciao.